For this topic, we're going to look at this the building block of life. So, what are the components or what are the molecule of life we are going to look at in this today discussions here? Okay, so basically we have four kinds of molecule of life, which are highlights carbohydrate, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. So these four types of molecule, okay, we refer them as a molecule of life. And if you look at these four molecules, we want to know what are the most common elements in this molecule of life. Then you can see that because we are using the words elements, I like the words elements here, then you can see that the elements will be hydrogen, sorry, okay, hydrogen, carbon, oxygens, and nitrogens. Okay, so but be careful when you write it, because when you write as the hydrogens in biology, when you say hydrogen, actually equivalents to the hydrogen. Yes. Okay, means H2. Okay, so if you want to talk about, let's say, for example, carbohydrate. So carbohydrate, you will say that carbohydrate consists of hydrogen's atom, carbon atoms, oxygen atoms. Okay, right? Rather than you say that hydrogens and oxygens. Okay, same goes to oxygen. You say oxygen basically means oxygen gas. So we actually look at this. We want to know how this hydrogen atom, carbon atom, oxygen atom, and nitrogen atom, four of them, can combine together. Okay, because in this, if you look at these elements, how we change this for inorganics to become the organic compounds such as the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Okay. Okay, so someone's have been try to figure out how these elements can join together to form the macro or to form the large organic molecule. So the theory saying here is a primordial soup theory. Okay, hypothesize say that a set of conditions present on the Earth around 4.2 to 4.0 billion years ago then enabled these atoms to be joined together to form carbohydrate, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Okay, so actually it's proposed by Alexander Oparin in 1924 and also the Heldens in 1929, according to this theory. Okay, so what actually happens in this theory? If you look at these diagrams, you will see that basically it's something like a cooking process. Okay, it's like cooking process. How we cook it? So basically, we have the ingredient. For example, and proposed by the Heldens and also the Heldens. Okay, so in this experiment, it's realized, okay, I mean, it's conducted by Milos and Urey. Okay, so two of them, okay, Oparin and Heldens only propose, but who actually prove it? This primordial soup theory might be one of the theory that make this organic carbon compound from those inorganic carbon sources, for example, carbon, hydrogen atom, nitrogen atoms, and so on. Okay, so this set of experiment conducted by Miller and Urey to test out the primordial soup theory. So in this experiment, basically you can see that we put the ingredient in. Then we have the water, we have the methane, okay, ammonia, as well as the hydrogen gas. So these are the primitive atmosphere. So means that when the Earth was formed that time, you can see that these are the conditions. Right? The Earth full with the ammonia, full with the methane, hydrogens, and water. So what we're going to do in this experiment, very simple. We actually give them the high charge to simulate the lightning process, okay, and also the raining. So in this case, you can see that we have the condenser to cool down this hot gas. At the end, we do actually have the cool water that containing the organic carbon compound, okay, so we can sample. Then we heat it again. Okay, so it represent the oceans. So this water vapor going up and then going, okay, react again and come down. So it consists of something which simulates the environments, okay, at 3.8 billion years ago, where we get those organic carbon compound. Okay, so what you can do now, you can try to complete the passage here, okay, with the given terms. Okay, so you have 5 minutes to complete this one. Okay, so assume that you guys have done answering these activities. Okay, fine, done. Now look at what are the answer. So first, who proposed this? Proposed by Oparin. Okay, so Alexander Oparin first postulates that his theory in 1924. According to Oparin, the primitive Earth surface, means when the Earth started to form, had a thick red hot liquid composed of heavy elements. Not heavy metal, but heavy elements, which is carbon. Okay, in the form of iron carbide. Okay, so this nucleus, okay, this iron carbide was surrounded by the lightest element, for example, gases such as hydrogen gas. So in the presence of water vapor, so carbide we react with hydrogen, so carbon, hydrogens to form hydrocarbons. Okay, from hydrocarbon. So such hydrocarbon was the first organic molecules. Okay, we have a lot of hydrocarbon, right? CH is very, very common in organic carbon compound. So this further combined with oxygens, oxygen have O and ammonia have N to produce hydroxy and also the amino derivative. Hydroxy means OH group, to form OH group, and amino derivative NH2. So in this case, we are looking into the formations of the carbohydrates as well as the proteins. So this molecule accumulates on the ocean surface, become a very gel-like substance because of very viscous, high in concentration, and growing in size. So they give rise to the primitive organisms. From there, it starts to form the cell surface membranes and then encapsulates those proteins, and we manage to form cells according to this theory. So in his original theory, Oparin considered oxygen as a primordial gases. Thus, the primordial atmosphere was an oxidized one. But this is not so true because we do know that it's the microorganism, the cyanobacterial, okay, the bacterial, the green bacterial or blue-green bacterial was the one that actually converts the atmospheric CO2 into O2. Means at that time we don't have O2 yet. So means that his theory was not so accurate because he add in the oxygen, which is not true because oxygen will be the oxidizing ones. Okay. However, when he elaborated his theory in 1936, he modified the chemical compositions of the primordial environment as strictly reducing. So it means that without oxygen, when we use the word reducing, so consists of what? Consists of methane gas, CH4, ammonia, NH3, free hydrogen gas, H2, water vapor, H2O, but excludes the oxygens. Okay, but in this case, you can see that Oparin only tell us the ingredient. Oparin didn't tell us how this thing can be formed, due to what. Okay, for example, I tell you the ingredient, okay, you must have onion, you must have garlic and blah, 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 but you do not know how to cook it, whether cook it for how long, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or you need to fry it, or you need to steam it, we do not know. Until the Heldens was the one that actually proposed how this ingredient can join together, okay, with what kind of condition. So Haldane said that the primitive Earth atmosphere was essentially reducing, means that without oxygen. Okay, so how we cook it, how we actually make them together. So because at that time we have the sun, so the UV lights, okay, the ultraviolet ray from the sun induce the reactions of mixture of water, carbon dioxide, and ammonia. Then organic substances such as sugars and protein component such as amino acids were synthesized. So this molecule again accumulated till the primitive ocean reached the consistency of hot dilute soup. Then the first reproducing thing were created from this soup. So basically, what's mean reproducing? Something that can reproduce. As we know that in the cell theory say that all cells actually come from pre-existing cells. So it means that something must be reproducing, then only they can reproduce the next generations of cells. Okay, but Haldane and also the Oparin didn't carry out the experiment. They just proposed only. Okay, so who carried out the experiment? This experiment carried out by Miller and Urey. Okay, Miller and Urey. Okay, so they carried out this experiment performed by this Miller and Urey according to the Oparin-Haldane hypothesis. Okay, so how they do it? So they carried out experiments that demonstrated how organic molecules, for example, the carbon compound, could have spontaneously formed from inorganic precursor. Precursor means starting material under conditions like those persisted or suggested by the operants and Haldane. So operant will tell the ingredient, Haldane tell us the process. Okay. So this experiment is known as, because it's carried out by the Miller and Urey, so it's termed as Miller-Urey experiment. So use a highly reduced mixture, so without the oxygens, to form a basic organic monomer first. For example, they managed to form the amino acids. So this provided a direct experimental support for the soup theory. Apart from Miller-Urey experiment, the next most important step in research on prebiotic organic synthesis was demonstrated by this Johannes Oro, that the nucleic acid purine base managed to be synthesized by heating the aqueous ammonium cyanide solution. This again is very, very important because protein is the catalyst, right? Protein have a lot of functions, like for example, enzyme, hormone, and so on. But those protein, to form the protein, we need to have the DNA, the gene. So the first formation of adenines is the one that's give us the kickstart how we can actually figure out to produce other kind of the bases. Okay, so by further transformations, more complex organic carbon compounds can be formed. So these are complex organic carbon compounds termed as polymer, where we can join all monomers together, okay, and develops in this soup, okay, according to the soup theory. Okay, so to summarize, the biochemist, Robert and Shapiro have summarized the basic points on the primordial soup theory as follows. First, early Earth has a chemically reducing environment, basically means that without the oxygen. Okay, so the atmosphere exposed to the energy in various forms, for example, the lightning produce simple organic carbon compounds known as the monomer. So this compound accumulated in a soup, which may have been concentrated at various locations, such as the shorelines and oceanic vents, and by further transformations, more complex organic carbon compounds or polymers can be formed, and ultimately life evolved or developed from the soup. Okay, so with this, I've done for this primordial soup theory, and we should know that primordial soup theory is not in our syllabus. I just want to talk about this monomer and polymer so that I can link you guys to the next part of the topics. Okay, so off the record now.